Someone once asked, "Dale, if you are to take your driver's test tomorrow, would you pass?" And with confidence, I answered in the affirmative. But would I? 4 peddlers in the automotive world flatly refused to participate in an automotive documentary which would pit their brands against each other. The aim was to bring first-hand factual information to the St. Lucian public without being biased to a dealer or brand. That concept was too much for Peter, Charles, Bain and DeVoe. Yet, we soldiered on in an effort to bring you accurate information meant to educate prospective buyers. From car dealers to lending institutions to those who insure, right down to those who tutor the inexperience, comes facts, numbers, procedures, gimmicks, bluffs, rebates, loans and policies, all meant for social transformation. As a matter of fact is a blend of fact, reality TV, a dose of the bitter truth, and pure automotive advice from perhaps the most unlikely source, albeit the most qualified. Once upon a time, this was my life. From Skylines to Supras, to Rotaries, to good old-fashioned Sylvias. I have owned them all and driven them to their absolute limit. Embarrassingly, I still hold the record for the most 463 engines ever blown in a vehicle. My record stands at 17. Although, from what I hear, Corny is quickly catching up. I have danced with the devil more times than I care to remember. In 2001, I was a passenger in my own Ford Mustang, and I witnessed how quickly the road can snuff life without warning. I lost my friend Anton St. Rose in that accident. I walked away with a collage of scars and a key that I shall carry for the rest of my life. Once upon a time, say the name Dale Elliott and most traffic cops would turn on their sirens. But when I was a child, I did childish things. Now that I am a man, it is time to put away childish toys and guide the next generation on how to stay clear from becoming the next road statistic. I have lived long enough to tell this tale and give superior automotive advice like only Dale Elliott could. The first person to ever drive a motor car was a woman, Bertha Benz, the wife of Mercedes inventor Carl Benz. The first recorded sale of a manufactured car was to Emile Rogers of Paris, who bought a petrol-driven Benz in the year 1888. The first recorded fatal motorcar accident occurred in Britain. Bridget Distrol was on her way to a dance recital at Crystal Palace when she was run over by a Roger Benz car. The coroner hoped it would never happen again. January 28, 1896, a speed demon named Walter Arnold earned the first citation for exceeding the speed limit in Britain. Arnold was blazing along at 8 miles per hour in a 2 mile per hour zone. Naturally, there was a charge of 1 shilling for that infraction. Driver's licenses were first introduced in Britain in 1903, purely as a means of identifying vehicles and their drivers. By 1907, taxicabs with meters began operating in London. While the British were zooming about in their fancy new toys, Her Majesty's faithful subjects in St. Lucia were stuck with a horse and carriage. But thanks to the genius of Henry Ford, the motor car was now an invention for the masses and the really rich folk in St. Lucia. George Barnard, a white plantation owner, was the first St. Lucian to buy himself a beautiful Ford Model T, pictured here in 1913 it got stuck in the famous red mud of Choiseul. In 1930, the Road Traffic Act introduced a licensing system for public service vehicles. Voluntary testing for driving ability was introduced on March 16, 1935. However, just 1 year later, the driver's test became compulsory.
If there is one piece of advice I would offer learners, it is don't be nervous. Driving tests have one object, to make our roads safe, and the examination is not an inquisition, but as you will see, a series of very reasonable tests. Then, after an eyesight test, the examiner asks questions on the highway code. This includes correct signals such as I am slowing down, I am turning right, should be signaled like this, and here's the correct signal for you may pass me. Driving merrily along and wishing to pass another car, your arm should signal clearly that you are pulling out. Always let following traffic know what you are going to do. Here's an example of really clean reversing, and it's handy for parking too. One like this, of course, is not included in the test, but it's a useful accomplishment. Now, reversing in a road, using forward and reverse gear. When the examiner says the road, he means the road, not the pavement. It looks funny, I know, but examiners don't appreciate such humor.
A moving apparatus making strange sounds and bellowing smoke may have been the norm in Great Britain. But in St. Lucia, it was an occasion to spot one. Here, the Choiseul Bridge was officially opened in 1917, and a car and driver did the honors, with spectators all adorned in their true British costumes. Harold DeVore brought transportation to the masses with the St. Lucia Motor Company in 1924. Apart from Boise, Harold and Sion, Mr. DeVore's three faithful drivers, other St. Lucians became qualified drivers, and companies sprung up overnight, offering the best in British motorcars and all the accessories to suit. With the influx of cars came the predictable accidents, the resultant congestion, and the rapid need for infrastructural expansion. Cars were built solid, but safety was not a priority. First came hydraulic brakes on a 1922 Doozy Model A. 1930, safety glass became standard on all Ford cars. 1936, the handbrake was born. And, in an effort to improve nighttime visibility, the Americans produced the ugliest car in the world ever. The 1947 Torpedo Tucker. It carried 3 headlights and a special crawl space that you could hide in before an impending accident. Luckily for St. Lucians, most of our cars came from Mother England. The Rovers, Austins, Hillmans, and the Holdens from Australia were for the higher income brackets. For the masses, trucks converted into buses were the best means of transport. Back then, driver's tests were conducted by the police, and most people learned to drive in private cars. Accidents were commonplace. The 1971 Traffic Diaries reported that Gabriel Ishmael of Forester escaped serious injury when his little van flipped. Pele's little Austin relaxed in a ditch. A car and a truck had a magnetic attraction, leaving several people injured. And even back then, there were properly organized road safety campaigns. Over the past 30 years, the streets have been painted with blood. Between year 2000 and 2014, there were 24,620 new drivers registered and thousands of accidents reported each year. We have what the government would like to believe is an international standard dual carriageway, which truly isn't. We are blessed with traffic lights and every imaginable road traffic sign. There are 36 registered driving schools, and last year, 1,441 new drivers became qualified. Considering the number of experienced drivers, I pondered on the cause of so many accidents each year. So after driving for nearly 20 years, I decided to have a go at my driver's test all over again to determine if my driving style was as much part of the problem as other drivers. The driving examiner has a military background, a face that has not cracked a smile since the early 70s, and a wealth of knowledge on the correct way to drive.
My name is Spencer Samuel, and I'll be taking you out on your practical driving test this afternoon. Now, at all times during the test, sir, I'd like to see you driving safely and under control. When we leave here, all I want you to do, keep following the road straight ahead all the time, unless traffic signs or road markings direct you otherwise, or unless I ask you to turn, which I will do in plenty of time. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you understand and you're ready, drive out of the car park for me, please, and follow the road ahead.
This feels very odd.
As we pulled off, I could feel about 17 butterflies liming in my stomach. Even if I knew it was a test for television, I couldn't help but break a sweat. The silence of the little minivan was occasionally disturbed by the gruff voice of the gentle giant giving specific instructions.
At the end of the road, turn left, please.
I'm actually trying to pass.
At the roundabout ahead of you, sir, I'd like you to take the third exit. It's a road leading towards Castries, please.
Every now and then, he grabbed his roll ball and scribbled away. Boy, was I worried.
Block on the left, just before the junction, please. Just before the junction.
After executing what I deemed an excellent three-point turn, it was time to head back. With confidence, I turned into the parking lot for my last set of instructions.
You will switch off. You can remove your seatbelt. Relax a minute, please.
I passed, huh?
Miss Elliott, this is the end of your test. I'm sorry you have not passed, but the driving has not reached the required standard. If you just give me a few moments, I will explain to you what it is that you did wrong, what you need to take further practice in order for you to pass the test of competence to drive. Just give me a few minutes, please, sir. Okay, let's look at, first of all, we're looking at the position of your hand on the steering wheel while you're driving. You're actually going over the 12 o'clock mark with your right hand and with your left hand. So, and then you're actually letting the steering slip through your hand when you go around the bend as well, okay? So you need to look at that and don't let the steering slip through your hand, and don't let your hand go over the 12 o'clock on either side with either hands, okay? Moving on, when you're moving off, moving away safely, you're not looking around you to make sure that there's nobody there to spoil your day.
But sir, I was looking in the mirrors.
No, it's not. You need to physically look over your shoulders to make sure that there's nobody there to spoil the day. Look over your shoulders, please.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. You're not checking your mirrors before you signal. Before you signal, it's necessary for you to check your mirrors to see who or what you would affect with your actions before you go either to the left or to the right, for turning left or for turning right. When you exit the roundabout, as well as when you come into the roundabout, you're letting everybody know what you are doing, where you're going. When you exit the roundabout, you just exiting. You're not telling anyone behind you that I am about to take the next exit off the roundabout.
Mrs. Spencer, I have to indicate at the roundabout?
Absolutely. When
Oh,
you're living,
wow. I have never seen anybody indicate at the roundabout.
Okay, let me show you something. The roundabout, as you approach the roundabout, and then you have all the other roads being attached to it, if you like, yeah, the roundabout becomes the main road. All of these roads become secondary roads. The roundabout becomes the main road. And like if you were on a main road, if you have to turn left or turn right, what would you do? You'd indicate. So from the main road, which is a roundabout, if you're going to exit, you must let others know that this is what you're going to do by indicating your intention to come off the roundabout. In other words, to turn left. You must indicate left, okay? So, this is for you, sir. When you see a D, it implies that the practice that you did there was potentially dangerous. Give me that one. I forgot what did there.
I have never seen so many correct marks, or incorrect marks, as I should say. Last time I saw this, I was in standard 2. So that means I failed?
Actually, yes.
After 20 years of driving?
I don't like to use the word fail, but I just say you did not pass.
My shortcomings on St. Lucia's highways are reflective of the bad habits I have cultivated over the years. But it was refreshing to be reminded of the simple things like the correct use of the roundabout and the protocol for pedestrian crossings. Wouldn't it be nice if every 10 years, drivers are subjected to the same punishment I went through, disguised as refresher courses and exams that sharpen their skills? Perhaps the consequence of this daunting exercise would be lower collision rates. When we return, a 25-year-old goes from getting a license to buying a car to getting into trouble. On average, 1,861 people are added to the roster of registered drivers annually. This phase represents 45.2% of new entrants. A learner's permit can be obtained from 16.5 years old, and a license can be obtained from 17. The prerequisites are simple: birth certificate, a medical report by a licensed medical practitioner on the prescribed form, 2 passport-size photos, picture identification, and of course, $75 must be deposited into the consolidated fund. Permits are valid for 6 months, and a theory test is mandatory. It is still legal to learn to drive in a private car, although there are some restrictions as it relates to having the test done in it. 25 years ago, he was a smooth-talking minibus driver with a dentine smile and a heavy right foot. He gained a reputation as the transporter of choice for many secondary schoolers, including me. With a bird's eye view of roadkill and not wanting to be sullied by the stigma attached to bus operators as being the absolute worst drivers on the road, Sauce became a vehicle for change. Under his guidance, thousands of St. Lucians have become qualified drivers.
And one of the misconceptions is everybody seems to say, I can drive, or their parents call you and tell you their son can drive, or someone call you and tell you have a friend that can drive. But really and truly, driving is not just starting a car and moving it from point A to point B. And that is the big myth and the big misunderstanding when it comes to driving.
It is now possible to obtain a driver's license to drive automatic transmission cars only. This, of course, has its disadvantages. It has been proven that manual transmission drivers are more aware of their surroundings than automatic drivers. Manual car tests have a lower pass rate than automatic tests, simply because there is more to fail on when driving a manual car. However, not so says the veteran tutor.
I have no problem with the automatic driver license, okay? But I think if one wants to call himself a driver, he needs to drive a manual car, understand how a car works, before he tries going into an automatic car. The automatic car, everything is easier, yes. You put it in drive, you go down the road, and you take your car wherever you want to go. But when you think of it, driving an automatic car is easier. but there are a lot of more dangers involved in driving an automatic car.
The requirement is for you to stop the vehicle
There
dead.
was nothing coming.
Once you have scribbled over the theory hurdle, it is time to face the man who does not smile. Smile he may not, but the man really knows his job. What are some of the more common reasons for failure?
Students not doing what they were taught to do. They know what to do, and on the day of the test, they break down. They get nervous, and I feel that this is part of the reasons why they do not pass, because they just don't do what they were actually taught to do.
Do you find reversing or parking or balancing on a hill to be an issue in particular?
No, I find right now the roundabout is more of an issue than anything.
On successful completion, new drivers are issued a provisional license valid for 1 year and must undergo an intense driving course before a provisional license can be graduated into a fully licensed driver. Now that Shari has maneuvered through the Ministry of Transport's long lines, it is now time to get to the fun part. It's time to buy a shiny new ride. But first, she needs financing. Out of the maze of financial institutions offering money at cost, making the right decision is critical. Car dealers and leasing companies have attractive banners and numerous promotions. But for Chaz, patriotism, the lowest interest rates, and the best in customer service led her here. From the politically and socially fertile soils of St. Lucia, the St. Lucia Cooperative Bank Limited opened its doors for business in January 1938. With capital of only $50,000, made up of $1 shares, this small savings and loans organization encouraged thrift and personal empowerment. Founded by St. Lucians for St. Lucians, the bank has gone from coins to banknotes, but still, the motto of always being there for you has embraced all their customers. And that was the attraction which sparked the smiles and firm handshake of the buyer and the banker.
I'm a little excited, nervous, but
You're happy about getting your
yes,
brand new vehicle.
very, very happy.
Wonderful. I had asked you to bring a few things. Do you have everything with you?
Right. My job letter,
You brought it, the job letter. You have the invoice from the car dealer.
car dealer,
You have your ID.
my ID,
You have a copy of your salary
every
slip.
single thing that
Wonderful,
I need.
wonderful. We're going to be going through your monthly commitments. You'll tell me what your monthly expenses are so we could match it against your salary.
salary?
Right, so we can
Okay.
reach out a very comfortable payment for you so the loan payment would not be too steep. It will be
Alright.
very comfortable.
Okay. What is the advantage of financing a car through First National Bank as opposed to dealer financing or leasing?
Okay. At First National Bank, we have the best rates. Our rates are lower than the dealers. When you do the purchase through leasing, the vehicle is not actually your own vehicle. It is actually registered under your name and the leasing company. With and you only get ownership of that vehicle when you have made your final payment. With First National Bank, as soon as you've signed off on the loan, the vehicle is yours.
Okay. All right. And I've been hearing, going to the ATM, going around, I've been hearing about this First Wheels vehicle promotion. Can you tell me about it?
Well, this was a wonderful package we had. We actually surpassed our budget. It went very well. It was a package where we incorporated the price of the vehicle, your insurance, all bank charges, and you only pay 10% of that bundle. And in addition, we give you a full tank of fuel, or we give you the choice of that, or we pay the registration for you.
Okay, and this was available with all car dealerships on island?
All of them,
All
yes.
of them, every
Yeah.
single one. Okay, and I've heard about 100% financing. Does First National Bank offer that?
Yes, we do, but we do it on a case by case. We sit with our customer, we look at the situation, and we work with them.
Okay, so what are the pros and cons of 100% financing?
With the 100% financing, you would find that the repayment is a little higher than if you were to make a deposit.
Okay.
Because you're not putting in anything, we're giving you everything, so of course it would be higher. But then when you make a deposit, you actually make an investment into the purchase. You appreciate it a little more because you have something in there.
Okay. In the event that the vehicle is a total loss, how does the bank treat this situation?
Okay, this is why we take comprehensive insurance on the vehicle, so the insurance comes in at this point.
Okay. Another important question, especially as I'm a first-time buyer, although I've been a teacher for 7 years and my job is permanent, what about if I lose my job or I'm in transition? What happens? What are my options? What are the procedures?
Okay, we always encourage our customers to talk to us. We keep this relationship with our customers. You come and talk to us, let us know what your situation is, and we work with you. There are different situations. If, for instance, you know for sure how long it would take, right, before you get another job, because persons have other options. We could look at your case. We could either refinance the vehicle when you're ready and give you a more comfortable payment, provide if the salary that you're getting now is less than what you used to get before. So
you make adjustment.
We work with our customers,
Right.
yeah.
Armed with a pre-approved loan from the penny bank and the urge to hit the open road, vehicle insurance came next. But there was no shopping around in that department. This little angel went where angels have the advantage. But this time around, I took a moment to grill the underwriters first, because in a market characterized by unprecedented levels of competition and increasingly sophisticated and discerning clients, it is important not just to shop based on pricing, but quality service, financial stability, and purchase a policy which is tailored specifically for that particular buyer.
I think EC Global has been able to set itself apart from other insurance companies. The historical thing about persons not being paid properly, the length of time it takes them for them to get paid. So EC Global over the last 10 years, have set itself apart from that.
Additionally, EC Global stood ahead of its competitors with the launch of St. Lucia's first ever auto clinic for female drivers, a practical, hands-on seminar to teach female drivers about the fundamentals of general car care, servicing and maintenance, and security strategies.
The Angel Advantage policy is actually one of our flagship policies. It is designed specifically for women drivers who are at least 24 years old and have been driving for at least 2 years. The beauty about the Angel Advantage policy is if you're a member of a household where you are the driver for more than 50% of the time, you could get an Angel Advantage policy. So if you're driving your husband to work most of the times and you are the main driver, you would qualify for the Angel Advantage policy. The premium is lower, the deductible is lower, and the benefits are increased. So that is the beauty about the Angel Advantage policy.
Imagine if this happened to you. As you watch your car float away, you think, that's okay, I have comprehensive insurance. Only to realize that the policy you purchased never included perils, windscreen and flood damage. Your $70,000 investment is worth zilch, yet you have to honor your commitment to the bank.
Not many people are aware that not all policies cover flood. When we had the recent flooding, or even the trough, persons whose vehicles were submerged, some policies did not cover flood. I have a friend of mine who lives in the CDC, and she switched to EC Global because EC Global will cover her vehicle if it is damaged by flood.
Can someone who has a no claims bonus sign along a first-time insurer, and what are the ramifications?
Okay, that is something that a lot of persons try to do to save on premium. But what persons have to realize is when you insure a vehicle in, say, Mr. Elliott and Severin Francois, I'm benefiting from your no-claim discount. Yes, the premium is reduced. But both parties may become liable if there is an accident and the vehicle that I was driving is a negligent party, or I am the negligent party. So the negligence extends to you because you are considered the owner of the vehicle. And if that person is involved in an accident, not only that the third party will sue both of us, and both of us will be liable, but your no-claim discount is also affected. So Mr. Elliott's no-claim discount is now reduced, or he loses everything. Because you now have to, if you want to move to another insurance company, you need to give the insurance company your insurance history. Though you may not have been the driver, though you may not have been the owner of the vehicle, but just for convenience to help the other person to save on premium, your no-claim discount will be affected and your claims history.
With my questions and apprehensions quelled, it was Shari's turn to make the final decision. And from the onset, the Angel Advantage logo guided her.
Can you tell me about the premiums, the prerequisites for first-time insurance?
Okay. There's some information that we need to know about the vehicle before I can tell you how much it would cost you. For example, we will need to know the type of vehicle, the year model, the CC rating, and also information on yourself. Have you ever had insurance before? I'm asking this question to know whether or not you are entitled to something we call a no-claim discount. Okay, that discount can be applied to your premium, so your premium will be less. Okay. Also, I need to know whether or not you have had any accidents. I need to know who are the other persons that will be driving the vehicle, right? If you can give me information on them, for example, whether or not they have had any accidents. If you have anybody under the age of 24 that will be driving that vehicle also, I would need to know all of that.
Okay, what are some of the stuff that the insurance covers, like windscreen damage? Mm-hmm. Can you tell me?
All right. The policies, it covers accidental damage, meaning that if the vehicle is involved in an accident, like you hit somebody or you damage somebody's property or you hit somebody's vehicle, the policy covers that. It also covers you for flood, hurricane, and earthquake. It also covers you for strikes, or civil commotion. It also covers you for windscreen damage. Our Angel Advantage policy, there are other benefits that you can get. You can get the personal accident benefit. You can get the temporary placement car benefit. You can get cover for personal effects.
Is the Angel Advantage policy more expensive than a general policy?
No, it's a lot cheaper. Okay. It's a lot cheaper, and the benefits are greater than our other policies that we offer. Okay. Like I said, it's specifically designed for female drivers because we believe that our female drivers are better drivers on the road. We have less accident from female drivers, so this policy is designed for our female drivers.
What about if I find myself in an accident and when my vehicle is down or it's at the garage? If I have my own body shop, am I allowed to use it, or must it be one of the companies?
Okay. If you're involved in an accident and your vehicle is down, you can use anybody to repair your vehicle, somebody of your choice. Okay? EC Global would not tell you we need you to take this vehicle to any specific garage, because we do not have a garage assigned to EC Global. You can take the vehicle to any garage of your choice as long as you're satisfied with the way that they work.
And I've heard about this term excess. What does an excess mean?
Okay, the excess is the first amount that you are responsible for in the event of an accident. If you're involved in an accident, you damage my vehicle, you're making a claim under your policy. You're responsible for a certain amount of that amount that EC Global will be paying out, the first amount that you're responsible for. And it depends on the type of policy that you have. For the Angel Advantage policy, our excess is 3% of the sum insured. However, the excess would apply based on who was driving the vehicle at the time of the accident. So if you were the one driving the vehicle at the time of the accident, then your excess is 3%. However, like you mentioned earlier, your spouse. If your spouse was driving the vehicle at the time of the accident, his excess is 4.5% of the sum insured of the vehicle.
Bank loan? Check. Selecting an insurance company? Check. Now, the moment she has been dreaming about. With purchase power of 10% down and repayments not exceeding $1,300 monthly, there are quite a few models on the market. Chaz plays vehicle safety, reliability, fuel economy, and after-sales service as her priorities for choosing a ride. She first examined the Swift, a small, stylish and funky little car with headlights that are bigger than Pauline Mathre's spectacles. Now sporting a new skin and a new dealer, the starting price for the Swift is $64,000. Over the last 5 years, 425 were sold. She loved the fit and functionality and the creature comforts inside, but she was more concerned about availability of parts should she have an accident, and also whether the new dealer had trained technicians to service the Swift.
This is the Mitsubishi Lancer 1600 MyVec engine. MyVec says that the vehicle consumes less fuel, but then of course it has a lot of power. So you have that special feature on this vehicle.
So this car is very fuel efficient compared
That's
to
correct.
the Cruise or the Chevys and the...
You will get as much as 35 to 40 miles per gallon in this car.
If ever there was a mid-price sedan that would have gotten my nod of approval, it would have been this car. The 2014 Mitsubishi Lancer. If ever there was a car with pedigree dating back to the 70s, it was this car. Through the process of evolution, World Rally Championships have been won consecutively. Research and development has filtered down to its basic models, such as this one. But with evolution, buyers expect each model to be better than the last. Oh, how they would be bitterly disappointed with the new Lancer. With a price tag of $85,000, at least one would expect four-wheel disc brakes. Bluetooth connectivity should be standard, and at least Mitsubishi could have given us a little more than 117 horsepower. It isn't that the Lancer isn't reliable or beautiful. It is that it has ceased to evolve. It is a turntable in an iPod world. As such, this 25-year-old buyer has left this granny car for the grannies. When she first sat behind the wheel of the Cruise, her face lit up, the music turned up, and even if the car was stationary, she felt the urge to strap up and, of course, turn on the fogs. The 1.8-litre compact sedan boasts 30 mpg. Its spacious interior and the fact that it placed 4th out of 40 cars tested by Car and Driver didn't hurt a bit. Standard features include 10 airbags, rear parking assist, sunroof, and Bluetooth. This model is one of the best-selling new models on the road, and judging from the modus operandi of the JQ sales team, you can clearly understand why.
So this vehicle is probably the only vehicle in its class that has leather interior. So let me compare it to another vehicle like our Lancer, which will compete directly with this. Will come with cloth seats. Fully loaded also means you get like the sunroof, the auto wipers, the auto headlights. Nice. These are little gadgets that you will get, the smart key technology that makes it different from the other brand. And if you're a gadgety person, you tend to gravitate to this. If you're not a gadgety person, then you can save about at least probably $10,000 on the model below.
How fuel efficient is it?
Okay, well again, because this vehicle is made for the American market, in the United States of America, people don't drive from Grosse Ile to Castries. They do a lot of mileage. So this vehicle will really give you between 38 and 40 miles per gallon highway mileage. In St. Lucia, we don't do that. Right. But like, for example, if you lived in Vieux-Fort, you will definitely see the fuel efficiency this vehicle will give you.
Realize there are a lot of them on the road. Have you had any common problems or customers complain about anything?
Well, again, like cars are being manufactured, these are made by human. Right. They may have one or two issues, and that's what the warranty is all about. Right. The vehicle comes with a 3-year warranty. So these warranties take care of these little minor issues that come up. But generally speaking, the car, the reason you've seen a lot on the road is because of the success. It's a big sedan. It's probably one of the biggest sedans in its class.
to the competitor. And it's, you know, these days people are on the internet and they do all the reviews on the research on the internet. And I'm sure if you research this in the US, you will see how well this particular model has done for Chevrolet.
This is a beautiful car, I must say.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that you're going to be driving off in one. And I know once I get one teacher in one, and the teachers start to that's correct. Most of the teachers will start to talk to one another.
Yes, definitely.
What he didn't tell Chari was that the Chevrolet Cruze is simply a reincarnated Deu Lacetti. And we all know that story. Next, it was off to Beachcomber Limited, where the customer service was above and beyond professional. Tony, the sales agent, was helpful and well informed, but management refused to allow us to film inside the car. The accent blue was hypnotizing, the feel of plastic was predictable, and the endless features were signature of a Korean compact with an estimated 31 miles to the gallon. Crash test results for this model were quite favorable. The Accent placed 14th out of 40 affordable cars tested. This one had a sticker price of $69,900. She just couldn't wait to get behind the wheel of the daintiest 4x4 by far. This little soft roader says Chick Jeep all over. Chari even gave it a name, Ariane. A 1500cc Toyota-built engine is mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission and selectable 4-wheel drive. The little Terios looked perfectly suited for the Spanish teacher. On the test drive, she just didn't want to return to the dealership. Her lead foot massaged the accelerator as she put little Ariane through its paces. I was sure to warn her that the previous model Terios had chronic transmission issues. The back door would rattle for no apparent reason, but otherwise, the newer ones seem bulletproof. For now. She really did not want to go to Peter & Company. The only model they had in her price range seemed dull. The design could have easily been done by an 80-year-old with cataracts. But they say looks can be deceiving. As she adjusted the mirrors, that smile came up again, and of course, that heavy right foot. All previous thoughts of design were dashed out the window. The little Nissan seemed nippy, neat, fun, and had the build quality that said affordable, but not cheap. Out of all the dealers, Chaz was confident about after-sales service and dealer warranty with Peter & Company. After all, they've been in business for more than 100 years. Kia in Korean means rising out of Asia. The Kia Motor Corporation is Korea's second largest and oldest car company, founded in 1944. But it was not until 1986 that they built the first batch of cars, 26 in all. The next year, 95,000 were manufactured. By 2013, Kia was selling 2.75 million vehicles a year. The Hyundai Motor Corporation owns 1/3 of Kia Motors. When Chari sat with the sales manager from Northwest Limited, the look of apprehension of owning a Korean car was scribbled all over her face. And boy, did she grill the sales agent.
Just tell me what you
and
like.
And the colors.
Color,
I mean, the blue is gorgeous.
If you
Black,
don't have a color right now,
white, red, I want
great.
pink.
If you want pink, I will put pink for you. I could do that.
All right.
Also, when you're buying the vehicles, it's your first time. New vehicles all the way to go, and you get your warranty.
Polite, soft-spoken, and professional, he answered every question as if directly from the world's greatest salesman's manual.
This is where the space.
Is it a donut or a full tire?
I would not disappoint you. Take a look.
Oh.
And still the questions kept coming. The Cerato was well within her budget, priced at $87,400. And for that, you get a stupendous list of features: AC, power steering, power windows, 6-CD in-dash changer, USB port, Bluetooth, traction control, sunroof, reverse monitor camera, paddle shifters. The little Korean even had a built-in cooler. And best of all, Chari's favorite color, luscious blue. But they say the proof of the pudding is on the highway. it was time for Heavyfoot to take the Cerato for a spin. The driver-oriented cockpit features an intuitive instrument and switch layout, a perfect blend of functionality and style. The center console fascia is attentive to the driver, and the dancing instrument cluster had a Star Trek feel. 6 airbags come standard. However, in a small overlap frontal crash test conducted by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the Kia Cerato scored the lowest in its class. The test simulated the frontal corner of a vehicle hitting a tree, utility pole, or even another vehicle at 40 miles per hour, according to the IIHS. This situation accounts for a quarter of serious injuries sustained in frontal crashes. That still didn't stop the Cerato from achieving a 5-star safety rating. Designed by the Yankees, but having a Euro look, the Cerato is classy and even with a whiff of sports car about it. 0 to 60 takes an agonizing 9.3 seconds. Not exactly what you'd call fast. But who wants to be at breakneck speed in what can easily pass as an expensive poser car on a teacher's salary? As she reluctantly headed back in the right direction, the entire Untold Stories production crew were confident that Kia, Northwest Limited, and in particular, the smooth-talking, well-groomed salesman had earned a new customer. When we return, Shari makes a decision and the 10 things every new car buyer needs to know before buying. With over 15 years experience in car sales and auto parts, and over a dozen trips to the land of the rising sun, I have seen many classic purchase errors. Here are 9 common mistakes. You fail to take the time to conduct a proper test drive, or you skip it altogether. Have you ever walked into a dealership and said, "I've owned a pickup before, I know how they drive"? The obvious stupidity of that statement should make the alternative apparent. Don't be a dummy, do a proper test drive. You didn't properly research the vehicle's safety rating or verified fuel economy with a credible source. Instead, you believe the numbers the sales agent spewed. The number one lie told on a car lot is about fuel efficiency. Also, do you know the difference between a 5-star crash rating and a 3-star crash rating? Well, you triple your risk of injury between the two. Research, research, research before buying. Number 3, you were taken in by all the incentives to buy. Million points here, free gas, free servicing, 100% financing. You will be bombarded. The rebates are ending today, you must act quickly. 0% deposit, blah, 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 blah. Ignore them. They want your money more than you want the car. The identical deal will be available tomorrow. Trust me. Number 4, you fail to research the trade-in value of your current vehicle. There are usually 2 types of customers. The first has no idea what his car is worth, and the second has their car grossly overvalued. For $70, you can have an independent valuation done. Remember, when trading in your car, stick to your guns until you get what it's worth. Number 5, we've all been guilty of this one. You got emotionally involved in the car. Do you know that one of the many things car salespeople are trained to do is to get you emotionally involved in the car? Remember, once you take the logic out of the equation, you can be talked into anything. Number 6, it seemed like such a great deal, you chose not to sleep on it. Some of the best car deals I have ever been involved in are the deals that never happened. Sleep on it. Get the emotion out of the way. If the deal is really yours, tomorrow it will be waiting. Between July and August is the time of releasing car models for the new year. This is when the dealers seem to have the most attractive deals to move their dead stock. Be careful. The banks will also try to catch you in this trap. This is significantly going to affect your resale value in the short term. You drive off the lot with what you believe is a new model, only to realize a month later that you just bought a new, old model. Deadliest mistake number 8. You bought a new car with 100% financing. You insured it for its selling price. As you drive off the lot, this car has depreciated by 15%. 6 months down the line, the vehicle is totaled. In many instances, the sum paid out by the insurance company will be less than what you actually owe the bank. In essence, you will be asked to pay the bank for a car you do not have. A car salesperson's job is to sell cars. Do not allow him to persuade you. Allow him to facilitate you. Remember, they are working on commission. However, you are the one making the repayments and have to wake up to this heap of metal for the next 5 years. Think carefully. The moment of truth. Which one did the 25-year-old school teacher decide? Would it be the Versa? The small yet sexy Suzuki Swift? The refined, mature and reliable Mitsubishi Lancer? Or would she go off-road with Ariane, the cutest 4x4 by far? Was the spell of the Hyundai Blue enough to hypnotize her? Or was the list of features and the smooth-talking salesman from Northwest enough to make her choose Rising Out of Asia?
Never been told. Could go on and on. The fool has never been told.